More than 160,000 television movie actors have been on strike for weeks. They're joining screenwriters who've walked out in May to create Hollywood's largest first industry-wide strike in 60 years. Now, joining us to unpack all of this and their concerns is Barry Eidlin, Associate Professor in the Department of Sociology at McGill. We appreciate this, Professor Eidlin.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So let's begin by understanding how things have come out to this. I mean, how did it all come to where we are today?
So for the writers, they've basically gone on strike roughly once per decade for the recent decades. And for both the writers and the actors, the issue is really about fundamental changes to the industry that are impeding their ability to make a living. So in 1960 was the last time that both writers and actors were on strike. And then, of course, the big issue was television and how actors and writers were going to be paid for their work. Today, of course, it's streaming. And basically, you have a situation where studio executives are making millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. The studios themselves are recording billions in profits. And writers for hit TV shows are on food stamps. You have actors who are not getting paid for their work, and what a big issue is called residuals. So if you were a writer for Seinfeld, for example, in the 90s, you're still getting paid for that in 2023. If you work for a hit streaming show, that's not the case anymore. And so I think that there's a bunch of existential issues that are facing the writers and actors that are driving them to take this collective stand together.
And that's the importance behind this when it comes to this change is also technology, such as AI, seems to be one of those big concerns about the future of the industry when it comes to writers and their product.
Actually, both writers and actors have concerns about technology. With the actors, there's a concern that you could bring in an actor to play a background role, scan their image and likeness, and then for one day's work, and then have the right to use that image and likeness in perpetuity. So basically, an actor gets paid for one day's work, and studios get an infinite number of days' work out of that. With writers, of course, there's the scripts. There's questions as the degree to which AI can actually replace writers. I'm somewhat skeptical myself, but it is certainly something that studio executives would very much like to see.
Now, these negotiations are still ongoing. Where do we stand, and when can we expect an end to this, possibly?
Yeah, the problem with the Hollywood strikes is that you can shut down production, and production is shut down, thanks, I might add, in large part to the cooperation of the Teamsters Union, which is the union that represents a lot of the workers who provide the craft services, provide the transportation around and between sets and so on. They are not crossing picket lines, and they're the reason that basically production has come to a standstill. But of course, there's still a lot of production that's out there. You don't stop. If you stop new production, that doesn't mean that there's nothing to watch on TV and nothing in the movie theater. So the executives have been taking a very hard line. One of them was quoted in the press recently saying that their goal is to essentially wait until the writers are losing their homes and starving them out into submission. It's going to go on for the foreseeable future, probably well into fall. But I think that I don't see any sign of the writers and actors losing any resolve in this matter. I've actually been out to the picket lines, and it would be difficult for me to see them caving anytime soon.